Okay, one of the stocks that is on our list is Escomar's Nationwide. In fact, before we go any further with things, let's go across to Mr. Nitin Kasliwal, MD at Escomar's Nationwide. He's joining in to just talk about how business plans are shaping up. Nitin, good morning and thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Good morning, Surbi. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Lots of buzz in the market that you are looking at a listing of Reid and Taylor, or you could get in more investors for some of the other brands like Belmont that you have. What can you share with us now?
You see, Surbi, Reid and Taylor, as you're aware, is already a subsidiary company of SKNL. SKNL owning 74% and the government of Singapore being the balance with 26%. And there have always been plans to list Reid and Taylor, and we've now decided that this is, over the next 6 to 8 months, it's a good opportune moment to be listing it. It's basically an IPO being done as a listing exercise. And to that extent, we're all very excited and looking forward to it. JM Financial is the lead manager for this issue, and of course there'll be other investment bankers like UBS and others who will also be joining in the fray. As you're aware, the government of Singapore had actually valued the Reid and Taylor business on a standalone basis at $840 million, and for that valuation they had invested $210 million for a 26% stake. So we're very confident going forward because the business is a very robust, very profitable business, growing at about 35% per annum. Current turnover is about 1,000 crores. EBITDA is in the region of 37%. So it's very exciting times going forward.
Okay, then you've given us lots of data, so let me quickly sift through that. You just told us that GIC picked up that 26% stake, and at that time the company was valued at $870 million?
$840 million. The Reid and Taylor business, yes.
Yeah, the Reid and Taylor. And how long ago was this?
This was in 2008, Surbi.
2008.
That's
okay, and you also shared a couple of financials for the company. Revenues are 1,000 crores for what period?
In March 10.
Ending March 10.
That's correct.
Okay, and what about profitability of this business?
Like I said, the EBITDA is in the region of 37%.
37% EBITDA.
That's right.
Okay, how much money do you need to raise right now to look at growth plans for Reid and Taylor?
Exactly.
Just rough estimates.
Like I said, the IPO is not a fundraising exercise, it's a listing exercise. So, Reid and Taylor has a very robust cash flow, internal accruals are very strong, our debt levels are almost zero in Reid and Taylor. There's actually no long-term debt, there's only working capital funding in the company. So there is a lot of scope for Reid and Taylor itself to be raising its own monies through internal accruals and debt. But because it's a listing exercise, I think there will be a minimum threshold which we will have to raise. I think it will be in the region of about $100 to $125 million.
100 to 125 million. So then what's the rationale for listing? You're not looking at money. Then are you looking at just unlocking shareholder value?
A, it's unlocking shareholder value because, and B is, of course, with any private equity player, you must always, it's always better to have a listed entity, from that perspective. And of course, it's unlocking shareholder value. It's putting, the valuation comes out upfront, and it's a very robust business. It deserves to be on its own. It's already, a major brand in the clothing and apparel business in India.
Have you filed the DRHP?
No. We've just started the process. Like JM has now started working on the documentation. So it's a while. Like I said, it's a 6-8 month process.
Okay, now quick last question on Reid and Taylor, then I'll just come to Belmont. $840 million is how much the company was valued at about 2 years back. Looking at the market conditions, what kind of a percentage increase do you think would be justified?
So I don't think this is a fair question to me today. Of course, the investment bankers are very confident and bullish about the valuation of the company. I think there's no point in discussing everything on this account today. Let's leave some things for the next 3-4 months at least, because it's a 6-month process. No, so a lot of things undergo changes. It's a very dynamic system, but we are very confident. Like I said, the business is a very robust business. It's growing at 35% per annum. It's a high-end, high-branded, a high-margin business. So the earning multiples that this business deserves and requires will definitely be. It's a full retail play. We have over 300 stores and growing. We are growing another 300 stores a year over the next 3 years. So it's a very strong retail play itself. So it's a totally different. It's in a different league of business.
Okay, so Nitin, then what's happening with the other brands, Belmont, Carmichael House? Are you looking at getting private equity investors there as well?
Belmont, yes, is another brand that we are looking at subsidizing the business. Actually, Belmont as a brand, but around Belmont there are other ancillary businesses like our medium value cotton fabrics, uniformity, which is a very high-value uniform business, and then, of course, part of the S. Kumar's workwear business. This is being consolidated into a company which is called Belmont Lifestyles and Retails Limited, and that company will be subsidized over the next few months. We are bringing in a private equity player here first, and later on, subsequently, over the next couple of years, it would also get listed.
So you are grouping a couple of businesses under Belmont. You will hide that off as a separate subsidiary. Is that right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
Because that business itself is becoming a substantial business chunk, and Belmont as a brand is again now is become a very solid brand. So SKNL, because SKNL itself is a very diversified textile conglomerate. We operate at the lower end, middle end, upper end, and we then operate home textiles. We're also getting into technical textiles in a big way over the next couple of years. We also are very big in high-value cotton fabrics. So it's on a branded basis, there are a couple of brands which deserve their own position. So that's what we are planning to do, which will help in three ways. One is it will also unlock value. B is it will also help us raise equity at different levels. And fuel the growth, which we feel, over the next 4 to 5 years, we can easily grow at 30-35% per annum.
Okay, so how much money are you looking to raise, and can you share the name of the PE guys you're talking to right now?
No, we're talking to a few PE players. I have NDAs with them, and I cannot disclose their names. Okay. But we are at an advanced stage with a couple of people, and
hoping to raise how much?
Fundraising will be about $80 to $100 million.
$80 to $100 million. And would it be correct to assume that a listing of Belmont would also be on the card sometime, maybe in the next 1 year?
No, not next 1 year. No, definitely not. It'll be in the next 2 to 3 years.
All right, Nitin, appreciate you joining us on the show. Good speaking with you, and good luck with all those plans. So that's S. Kumar's, and they are looking at business, different aspects to it, and lots of information has come out in that conversation. For starters, Reid & Taylor will get listed in the next 6 to 8 months. They're in that process. And interestingly, 2 years back, when GIC, which is a Government of Singapore investment arm, bought a 26% stake in the company, the valuation was $840 million. So anyone's guess right now is not, of course, willing to tell us that. What kind of an appreciation or a premium would they hope for above that number? That's S. Kumar's. Lots of news flow. Let's get our guests in on this as well. We've got all of them joining in. Ashok Ajmera, Ashish Kapoor and Hormuz Malu. Let me come to you first, Ashish. If you heard that conversation, what's the call on S. Kumar's now?
Well, clearly it is a great opportunity to buy on declines, and I think the only thing is today has gone up a lot, but I think any declines can be used to buy. Clearly the kind of expansion and the kind of value unlocking which the management is talking about gives it a lot of scope. I mean, I think from all angles it looks like a deeply undervalued play. If somebody has a 2 to 3 year kind of time frame, I think the upside looks very amazing. Only thing to keep in mind is that generally it is a stock which somewhat tends to get clubbed with the textile stock, so the discounting for whatever reason is lower than what I think it should deserve. So it may be taking, it may take some time before the market kind of re-rates this company fully. So if you're really buying into it, buy with a little longer term horizon and be ready to have some choppiness on the way. But I think clearly with somebody willing to wait on 2 to 3 years, the potential on the upside looks amazing. So clearly it's a buy on declines, and anybody holding on to it should continue holding on.
All right, so that's a buy call going out. Mr. Ajmera, what about you? 61 rupees on the stock today.
A very, very strong brand, very strong people in the home textile group, which started sometime in 1945, 1950. Now has been, has fully blown up now, and they have a lot of activities, almost every segment of the fabric and textiles, and the way they are unlocking the value of the shareholders one after another. Now, after some debacle, some setback, maybe 3-5 years back, the group has come back in a big way, and S. Kumar as such, S. Kumar nationwide had great potential. The fundamentals are very strong. The top line, bottom line is, one of the best if you compare with the other peer industries. Only thing in this industry, you get a very less price to earning ratio, of maybe 5 to 6. You don't get something like 10, 12 or 15, which some of the other industries enjoy. That is why you find this stock at a lower price. I have a small disclosure to make here. I am somewhat related to the promoters of this group and the company.
Okay, fair enough. So it's a buy call from you as well. Let's look at the technicals now. Hormuz morning, all-round buy calls coming in on the fundamentals, but what do the charts say?
Well, evidently it's in an uptrend, and I think it has since May last year it was sort of moving sideways, never really got past 60, and I think now it may gather momentum given the fact that it's coming out with an IPO. So I think if it does that, I think if it breaks out of 60, I think it will gather still more strength, and maybe first resistance or target would be around 80, and then maybe still further on. But in any case, it's a strong stock, and one should definitely continue to hold on.
All right, so good calls, buy calls coming in from all our guests. We take a short break on that note. We've only just begun. Lots of other stocks, including MSK projects, also on our list this morning. So do stay tuned. We'll be right back.